everybody. Thank you for joining me this evening. I literally got off with messaging back and forth, Tom Klein, and we kind of both came to the same conclusion. You can only keep digging for more reference material and for more detail. You can only keep doing that so on before you eventually have to make a judgment call and call it a day and move on to the next phase of the project. That's what's happening here. I'm really satisfied with what you see here today. I just finished the cab, literally the new hinge system, and I just finished the dump bed, the one that Tom gave me some help as far as some detail here on the side and on the back, and we'll cover it all real quick. This won't be a long video. I went to sleep the other night after I had shot that video about the hinge system to replace the AMT hinge system that comes straight out of the box from AMT. I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned till about almost 1 in the morning. And then it hit me. Perfect idea. I came into the workshop at 1 in the morning in barefoot and shorts. And I think I poured myself a cup of coffee, but I wasn't going to go to bed till what I envisioned in my head was done before me. And let me explain a little bit about that. In my research, digging into the hinge systems, the actual prototype, the real ones on the Freightliners, I came up with two types of, let's call them hinges for now, okay? 2 types of hinges for the front of the cab overs. And I'll show them to you real quick. There's a pointy triangle one like this one. These go straight up and down just the way they're drawn onto the frame. But I guess we could turn on the overheads. There we go. There's one hinge system, which is the one I showed you on the videotape, the screenshot on my last video. The Freightliner, we're copying the one that belongs to Landon Durant, the Consolidated Freightways Freightliner. Has a more elongated, there's no triangles at all on that version of the Freightliner. And this is the one that was appearing on the photograph on Landon Durant's Freightliner. Well, this was appearing on the other one. The other one, I think I explained the various sizes and types of Freightliner cab overs that were offered by the dealerships way back in the day. They came in different heights and widths and extra sheet metal for different reasons and less sheet metal. But anyways, they're all over the place. And when I modeled my hinges last week on my last video, they were of this type, but they were of the wrong Freightliner. Landon Durant's Freightliner is the one we're copying there. Is like this one, I should say. So this one and Landon Durant's Freightliner have this type hinge system. And I think that's what was bugging me in the evening. So I came in here and at night. Let's turn on more lights. I turned the lights off so we don't get so much glare on the laptop when I show you photographs. All right. So let's start with that. We're done. Let's lower the sound. The hinge system for my tilting cab over, AMT cab over, works perfect. Just exactly as I envisioned. It's strong, it's solid, it's rigid. It's not going to come apart as easily if you bump into it. And I can always go in there at any time, multiple times throughout its lifetime, remove certain pins, and the cab becomes removable. So there you go. Let's do a close-up shot as best as I can with this camera and this type setup so you can see how it looks. Up close. I do have better detail shots as I was building it. I was unable to download or upload it, then download it to my laptop to shoot this video, but I'll shoot those tomorrow evening, and it's gonna be a quick video showing you the steps as I built them along. Just real quick, like 30-second videos. There's about 4 or 5 of them. But today we'll show you the finished product, best I can. But basically, you're attaching to the back of the radiator grill. You're using let's get in focus here. There we go. See, those hinges are the elongated ones and not the triangle ones, the shorter ones. And now you can see the actual, I'm looking for an appropriate tiny pointer here. All right. There you go. Those round, you know, they're not bushings. Maybe they're bushing type, act like bushings, but that's what the pin goes through on the real ones to make the cab to forward and down again. And we not only did we model them here, but they're actually working just like the prototype ones. In this case, I got a big stainless steel rod going from here to here. When it's all done, I'll just have a pin going through here and through here. For right now, this is the setup. You won't put all the way down. There we go. And if I may get us in focus again. That's what I came up with in the evening. I am so happy with this setup. Let me show you how the bumper is going to look. Our bumper is going to go like that. We're not using the AMT bumper supplied by AMT out of the box. That's not the bumper that's on the video. Excuse me. We'll be using this bumper here. We're going to clean it up and move some stuff around as far as rivets and stuff like that, so it could look like the real one that's in our shot right there. That's why I didn't go with the AMT's provided bumper, because in my case it would have been wrong for what we're trying to do here. But that came out great. Just check that out. It's more rigid and solid and sturdy than the previous setup. The previous setup, I used sheet metal from that galvanized lacquer thinner gallon jug or can. It was a little bit too flimsy. This is actually brass rectangular tubing. So it's thick walled, and I cut it, use it, and it's actually pre-formed. I didn't have to go in there and do my bands and all the tight fittings and stuff. So this was perfect. It just came out exactly the way I envisioned. The first try I attempted to do all this, it came out on the first try. So pretty happy about that. Pretty simple, nothing complicated at all. I'll post those videos tomorrow of the actual build process. Not the actual process, but some quick videos. Like I said, each video is about 30 seconds long, and there's about 4 or 5 of them. But you'll get a better idea of what I did and what was used and how simple it was, how it matched the real thing. Excuse me for 1 second, guys. Okay. Whew. All right. So let's close that right back up. So like I said a few times, I'm pretty tickled pink how it came out. And as I know, people like to see these videos, including myself, and we like to get to the ending, so to speak, right? Not because we're impatient or anything like that, but it's just we're admiring something and we're really kind of like rooting for it. And I'm one of those guys also. That is one of the bad things about doing these prototypical models. You tend to draw things out over a long time. And as you guys have seen, And not just on this build, on all my other builds, I'll go back many times over and break stuff apart to re-improve or make it more correctly. And like Tom and me kind of came to the conclusion about 20 minutes ago on messaging back and forth, is that at some point you're going to have to call it a day. You know, make your judgment call that, okay, that's enough. It looks fine. It's perfectly detailed. Let's go on to the next part of the build. And he's 100% right on that. And of course, I know that too. But you start falling in love with these things, and you know, look at that. It's an AMT kit. You see the guys on YouTube right now that are doing amazing things with these AMT kits. Straight up, you get the kit straight out of the box, and you improve on the pieces that you need to improve on to do the build you're planning to do, which is what we're doing here in our case. I mean, I'm just tickled pink. I'm trying to set up all the lights for us. Just now that the cab is in place, I can measure off accurately where my bed is going to go in relationship to spacing and stuff like that. And then do the appropriate connections. Piece of cake, nothing to film. It's basic drilling and stuff. And then I can start building the hydraulic lifting, the arm, or the lifting part that lifts the cylinder that lifts the bed up. And then I can attach my wheels and stuff. We'll work on the Detroit diesel on the inside. We'll cover the topic about rivets and the seam. A lot of stuff to do. Does it get more detailed and reference material orientated from here on out? Not really. I think pretty much we covered the hardest parts. Got to do my air lines, my brake lines. Got to do my drive line and my transmission setup. Our particular Freightliner is only going to have one mud flap. That's the way it comes out on the video. And this next part of the video, I want to share with you guys. Thank you to Tom Klein. Thank you for your help, Tom, on helping me out with this portion of the build, which I am going to share with you guys right now. So what Tom had pointed out to me earlier was that I guess a good chunk of these dump trucks, especially if you're going to be pouring gravel and stuff. And I should have remembered that because my dad used to work for county road crews, and I used to see that. But they got that little door back here that they can lift up and regulate the asphalt or gravel coming out. Or other guys, I've seen chains that are tied off in the back. This is where Tom came in with his experience in working with this type of equipment. He described to me in detail how they're attached to the body, where they're attached to, what their purpose is. So I went on Google, Tom, and I did do a massive Google search of photographs, gobs of photographs, tons of photographs. And what I saw on the video, I found a photograph that kind of matched it pretty good, and that's what I used to finish off our dump bed here. So on the videotape, Tom, it only shows one chain. It may show partial second one, but there's a lot of shadows and there's no movement. I really got to study that. If it is there, I'll attach it here. If it's not, which it looks like it isn't, then I'll leave it off. I'll omit it. This guy here on the video, the chain is not connected to its hook over here because it should be like that. On our prototype in Texas, running around down there in Austin, this is jumping around all over the place because she's loose, just like that. But I also saw movement in the front where there's a little portion like this, also moving around. So I went ahead and made some little tiny hooks, drilled out the dump door here, attached the hooks so I could attach my chains. They're not going to be glued down, they'll be movable. Also, what you can see that I did here today is I went ahead and installed these busted up wooden top guardrails or extensions on our prototype, and on a lot of photographs I saw on Google. These boards up here get busted off eventually, and that's what our prototype has, is 4 busted off boards. what they all have in common is a little bit of wood remains. It's basically where they're bolted onto this metal. So unless you're gonna unbolt them off, it's gonna always have a little bit of wood, and that's what our prototype has. That's what we have here. I went ahead and put all 4 in each corner. We'll stain them and darken them when we weather the dump bed. Another thing I did do is I added the tarp. On our prototype down in Texas, the tarp has been torn off a long time ago with only tatters remaining on the little thing that rotates so you can pull it out. We went ahead and copied the exact same feature on ours. This will be removable. I got to paint it, weather it, then we'll install it back. But just some plastic I found buried, plastic trash bag I found buried in my backyard that I used at one time to keep the weeds out of a certain section of the grass. Well, look, it came useful. 20 years later, there it is. Eventually, when we get into painting, we'll remove all this lettering stuff here. We'll primer that gray and paint it the appropriate colors. Right now, we're just keeping that to show people that I didn't have to buy expensive brass for this particular build. Pretty much a lot of the pieces were already lying around in my house, in my yard, upstairs in my railroad boxes, gallon cans of lacquer thinner. That's what this is here. This chain comes from my model railroading days also. Just stuff you have lying around the house. I could have gone brass like I always do, but I decided to start making these videos so it appeals to people who want to attempt something like this and not have cost be any type of hindrance for something like that or someone like that wants to attempt that. These AMT kits are wonderful. I mean, if you think about it, they're priced right. They got all sorts of stuff in terms of variety, all sorts of stuff out there. They suffer from like any other older kit, a lot of flash, a lot of details, or little tiny details, or just blobs, or fit issues or stuff like that. But if you take your time and work on them, and give her the love they deserve, you come out with a great looking kit. Anyways, I think we're pretty much all done. Anyways, real quick, just to cover the front here. You saw how I'm going to use this bumper here. Something like that. Even though our prototype down in Texas uses this bumper, it still uses the Freightliner grill part up here. So I'll cut this off and I'll attach it, and it fits perfect right between our 2 hinges. I hope you guys can, I hope I didn't block that. There you go. So it'll be something kind of like that. I hope I didn't block you guys. Sorry about that. But anyways, we're going to try and keep this video pretty short. Real quick, another detail I came across. Still using those cans of lacquer thinner. Those sheets I cut out. This will be our part that goes back here. It's usually a plate of steel, and that's where they drill out like the brake lights and the backup lights. They'll usually have some sort of tow hitch down here, and I think probably the license plates. But that's what that is. Still continue to use our lacquer thinner. The lacquer thinner can that keeps on giving. And other than that, I think that's pretty much about it. I know these videos are slow in coming, but I went back to work here. Actually, I never stopped working during the pandemic. Even worked from home, and still had to go down to the office and interview people. Pandemic or no pandemic, that's just my job. And now that I'm working and interviewing more people in person, the office has been opened up. Businesses have opened up here a few months ago now. I'm back to a regular 8 to 5, Monday through Friday work schedule. So sometimes it does get hard to even come in here and do some simple stuff. So if you newcomers, you new subscribers to the channel, just bear with me. I got to pay the mortgage, almost done doing that, and getting ready to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here, and possibly retirement. And so I'm juggling a lot of things. So if you see the video slow down, I'm not stopping. Bear with me, I'll be back. This is going to be an interesting build. Hope you follow it. If there's things on here that interest you, go ahead and feel free and copy them. Mention my name, throw me a bone every once in a while. Just say you got this idea from so and so, or even portions of the video or videos themselves. I have no problem. Just go ahead and mention my name and give me credit where credit is due. And I'd love to share with you guys what I've learned and come across in my journeys here. That includes this girl here, the Freightliner, our girl down in Austin, Texas, just running around burning donuts, screaming her Detroit diesel head off. But we'll end it right here. I'll let the video play out. You enjoy the music and the model.